Okay, I see some people starting to join us, so I'm just gonna say welcome and hang tight for a minute or two till we see that level off, and then we'll get started. So welcome to those of you who are still filtering in. We've got a few minutes while the participants join us, and then we'll get started in just a minute. All right. Well, welcome everybody. It's nice to see you. My name is Addie VanDeurzen. I am the Career Vocational Technical Education Coordinator, which means that I help your teachers connect with the college. And this is one of the things that we like to do every year. Normally we have high school students come and join us for a day on campus in our education department. And I wish that we could do that in person this year, but I think we're getting pretty close. And I hope that next year it will look a lot more like it usually does. But for this year, this is the format we're working with. And I know you're so used to it. But welcome. So this is kind of what we're going to do for the day. I hope that everyone's able to see my screen. Again, my name is Addie, so I'm here to just kind of keep things moving and say hello. I'm going to turn it over in just a minute to our Dean, Laurie Gordy, who's going to welcome you. And then we're going to go into a presentation of our different opportunities for learning and studying education at BCC. And then we're going to learn about a grant that can help some students in that program. We're going to see a demonstration of our education lab and our virtual reality classroom simulator that we use in our education department. That's pretty cool. We have an admission counselor here who's going to talk just a little bit about next steps and other opportunities to engage with the college. And then we'll stop and answer any questions that you've had that haven't been answered yet. So I will encourage you to take a look at the menu that you have in Zoom. There's a Q&A button. So if you have any questions as we're going through our presentations, please use that feature to enter the questions you have. TJ will be monitoring that for us, and we'll break in here and there and let us know if you've been having questions. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and let you hear from our Dean, Laurie Gordy.
Thank you, Addie. As Addie noted, I'm Laurie Gordy, the Dean of Humanities, Behavioral and Social Sciences, and I'm happy to welcome you today. This is a wonderful way to learn about our education programs by hearing directly from our faculty and see how they have integrated a lab and technology into the learning here at BCC. I know you will see from their passion for teaching how important a career in education is. Teaching is one of those careers that truly makes a difference in the lives of others. And I'm sure many of you have had or have now teachers that have shaped who you are, and the ability to give that back to students in the future is truly a gift. The education department here at BCC goes above and beyond to not only teach students, but to mentor them, to ensure that they find their path and stay on that path, whatever path that may be. It is now my pleasure to take my dog away and introduce Patty Kay, the chair of the education department here at BCC. Welcome.
Thank you for that wonderful and warm welcome, Laurie. And it's truly my absolute pleasure to be here today with all of you. Many years ago, I was a high school teacher and a preschool teacher and an elementary teacher. And I'm settled in at BCC for 7 years now. we love our department, what it has grown into, and we love sharing about the opportunities we have at BCC. So I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to what teaching is about and what it can be for you and what you can bring back to your community if you become a teacher. It's such an honorable profession, and it's so worthwhile when you can help children and students to fulfill their potential. So thank you for taking a look at this as a career. Thank you for being here. Please feel free to interrupt me as I present my PowerPoint. This isn't a formal presentation, although it may seem that way a little bit. But feel free to ask me questions along the way, and I'm more than happy to stop and address whatever questions you might have. So you think of education, and there are so many different pathways in the field of education. And we at BCC offer degrees and certificates in both early childhood education and elementary education. And we like to think that we do a pretty good job in helping those folks who might want to become secondary teachers, meaning you want to focus on a specific content area and then work in a middle school or high school. And middle school is the one area I have never taught in, and I have a lot of reverence and respect for those middle school teachers because that's a tricky age. So, oops, let me just, oops, sorry guys. Okay, so one of the things that we do at BCC is we have stackable credentials. And that means if you don't want to commit to a full 2-year associate degree program, but you think you'd like to investigate what a career would look like in early childhood education, you can come for a 16-credit introductory certificate, and that will help you get your foot in the door at a child care center, a home child care opportunity, a preschool. And that's about 1 semester if you can do 16 credits. And our students come full-time, they come part-time. Some students finish in 2 years, some students finish in 4 years. I even had a student on the long-term plan that took 10 years, and it really doesn't matter. What matters is that you're pursuing your lifelong goal and you're working toward what your hopes and dreams are. So this would be an example of what a first introductory certificate would look like. You would have a course called Early Childhood Growth and Development, and it talks all about how children grow and learn. The next course, Curriculum Creativity. Children are innately hardwired to investigate the world. They come in looking like they need a lot of attention, and they do, but they are also very smart and want to explore alone with rich environments that they can touch things and look at things and investigate. So curriculum and the way teachers create curriculum is a really important aspect of working with young children. We also have a practicum experience and the accompanying seminar. And this is to get you out in the field and working in the classroom. Many people think teaching is a great career and it looks good in the classroom. They enjoy the courses, but then they get in a classroom filled with 15 5-year-olds and it's a whole different concept. It isn't quite what they expected. So we like to get students out in the field early so you can actually put yourself in that classroom and see if working with those kids all day is what you anticipated. You take English composition and introduction to psychology. So this is the introductory certificate. Again, it will get you in the doorway for the Department of Early Education and Care, which grants certificates in the state of Massachusetts. Following that, you could take another 16-credit certificate, and this is called the intermediate certificate. And this is stackable. So you have the introductory, you want to come back, but you don't want to commit to the degree yet, you can come back for 16 more credits. And now we're going to lead you into some different courses. What is it like to work with children who have special needs? You will do a second practicum and seminar, again, getting you out into the field and working in your career. You have 6 credits in ECE electives, which you can choose what the courses are, and introduction to sociology or sociology of marriage and the family. So by the time you complete Certificate 1, Introductory, and Certificate 2, Intermediate, you would have 32 credits. And that is half of the credits of an associate degree. So while we're chunking this and we're saying, oh, introductory 16, intermediate 16, by the time you've completed this, you're halfway there to an associate degree. We offer 2 degrees at BCC, an associate in science degree, and this is meant to be more of a terminal degree, meaning students who generally go into this program are saying, I want the degree, but I do not plan to pursue anything further than my 2-year degree. The concentration is much more field career specific. So there will be many more courses in education, in early childhood education, and a few more courses in general education. But it does not contain a transfer block to a 4-year degree. And that's really the difference between this degree, Associate in Science, and the next degree, which is the AA, the Liberal Arts Associate in Arts degree. This degree is meant for students who know that they want to pursue a 4-year degree, who are coming to BCC as their first 2 years, and know that they want to transfer on to another school after. We have a good success rate with our students transferring. We have students, of course, go to MCLA, but now we have students that go to Westfield State University. We have students that have gone to Smith College, that have gone to Mount Holyoke. And really, if you work hard at BCC, you can get to the school of your dreams. And our education department is so good at individualizing programs and helping students attain their goals and meet their aspirations. So this degree has a liberal arts foundation. It also contains quite a few career-specific courses so that you're getting a good taste of what your individual career will be like. And it also contains the mass transfer block that will enable you to transfer with 62 credits to most of the our sister state schools. And we work closely now with Elms College and other private schools, and they take almost all of that 62 degrees as well. So that's half of your bachelor's degree. And again, you will find our students that go off to Westfield and other schools find that they're very well prepared, that they fit right into what comes next in their education. And we have very good rapport with these other schools, which we've built over the last several years. The other program that we offer, and it is really exciting because we have 4 new courses in elementary education. And this has only come about in the last couple of years. And before that, it was 1 course, this Foundations of Elementary Ed, and then everything else was pretty much liberal arts courses. Through some work that the state of Massachusetts has been doing, we now offer all of these courses in elementary education designed by Professor Barb Kotelnicki, who you will meet later in this presentation. And we're just so enthusiastic about developing this program. And we want to recruit elementary education teachers from our own Berkshire County, who will then come back to Berkshire County and teach in the public schools in the Berkshires. So this is an up and coming program that we're trying to develop and grow and nurture. And it's people like you that we want to educate and inform about this great opportunity, because then you can come back and be a change maker in the Berkshires, which is so important to many of us who love Berkshire County and want to see it flourish in the future. So more about that to come. And I'm going to stop here because I don't want to take my time and stop screen sharing. But I just want to say that I'm totally open to questions at this point. I just want to make one comment, and it's a little complicated. So if you don't get it right off the bat, don't feel like you're not smart. We have two governing bodies in Boston that oversee education in the state of Massachusetts. One is called, we shorten it to EEC. It's the Department of Early Education and Care. They oversee child care centers, home child care, preschools. They also oversee before and after school care. And now with COVID and a lot of pods being formed for students whose parents work, for them to get together in a group and work on their schoolwork while being virtual. They oversee that kind of situation as well. If you want to be a teacher in a public school, that is overseen by DESE, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. And I make this distinction to you now up front while informing you about the different pathways in education, because this road, this pathway is very different. It includes the Massachusetts Teacher Examination for Licensure. You must have a bachelor's degree and you have to be working toward a master's degree. And it's a little more complicated to get that license to be an elementary or a secondary ed teacher. And a lot of students come in and they say, I love children. This is my interesting pathway that I want to pursue, but there's a lot more to it. And I just want to put it out there and say to you, we will take you through this every step of the way. It's something we love to talk about. You can tell I want to go on past my time here, but don't be intimidated by all this lingo and all these governing bodies and all of these rules and regulations. We can help you find your way through the system and navigate it. We're good at this. Barb and I have both been teachers, and the other folks we work with know the system really well. And I just want you to really consider education as a field. You might not think you're college material. You might not think that you can do this, but chances are you really can. And we will be behind you every step of the way and help you figure things out. So without further ado, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Barb Kotelnicki. She joined us a few years ago, and I can't tell you how much she has added to our program at the college. And she has this wonderful thing to share called Mursion. It's just been so exciting, especially during COVID. We felt that we were one step ahead of everybody else because we had this. So Barb, I'm going to hand it off to you, and fingers crossed that all of our technology goes really well.
Thank you, Patty. That was wonderful. And it's my pleasure to be able to work with Patty Kay. Her knowledge and wisdom and insights and experience in the field has been invaluable for all of our students. Okay, just wanted to make sure that you can see behind me, and everything's changed a little bit here. We'll go back and play the video for you that we have about our grant, which is a unique opportunity and has lots of rich supports for you to also focus on early childhood if that's what you're interested in initially. So my name is Barb Kotelnicki, as Patty said, and I also teach in the education department. I teach both elementary and early childhood classes. I don't know if you can hear, but in the background is our preschool, our virtual preschool classroom, and they're off at centers, the children. So there are some noises. It might be hard to hear through the two systems, but they are actively at work exploring and investigating. And in just a moment, I'm going to call them over to the rug so that you can meet them and see how this environment works. Mursion is this great technology that we've been able to use in Berkshire County for the past 6 years. And it's a way to give students who don't have as much experience working with children of all ages. We have preschool up through middle school, and there is a high school situation or simulation coming out as well. So you can get your hand at working with children in a classroom who aren't real, but seem awfully real. Their responsiveness, the things that they say are just like real children. The beauty of Mursion is that it gives you that practice with feedback from your instructors right away. We also can stop it and do a timeout, and they don't hear us or see us, and we can problem solve and say, okay, what should we do? Or you want to try again. And they have no memory. So we don't have to worry if we make a mistake. It's all about getting that experience so that when we do go out for our field placements and our student teaching, we feel very confident and comfortable and competent because we've done all this already. You probably saw when you first joined that I'm in a different space. This is our early childhood education lab. And we've been really fortunate over the years to take Patty's vision of having this spot where we can merge theory into practice, and you can learn on one side of the room as we talk about the history and all of the language that you need to know about being a teacher and the procedures and the strategies. And then we come over on this side of the classroom and we practice that. We can set up the design for you any way you want, or you're going to do that. Actually, you're going to design an environment. There are all kinds of rich materials on the shelves that I'll show you in just a minute, and books. We loan text to you for classes if you're under our grant. So it's really kind of makes it feel like you're actually teaching. And we are very spoiled because now we feel that way too. And one of the things we've been able to do during the past pandemic year has been to go live from our classroom. So every week we're in this room teaching to students who are virtual in their homes or their places of work. So without further ado, I'm going to call over my preschoolers so you can see how this works. And then I'll talk a little bit more about this space. Start simulation. Good morning, friends.
Wow, look, you can see us on the screen.
We can. And you're doing
We
such
are
a nice,
so big.
you are big, Brandon. Thank you all for coming over. As soon as I called you, I heard you at your centers. You were so busy and learning and exploring and working together. I hate to interrupt you, but I'd really like us to start our day and have our morning meeting circle time. So we're going to go through our routine, and we have some visitors. The reason that you're on a screen today is because we have some high school students who are out there who want to know more about being a teacher. And I thought they would love, yes, Luna, they would love to see you. They can see you. Okay, so let's start our morning circle with our greeting. Today, I'm going to ask you to just say your name and tell us your favorite food. I'll go first, and then I'm going to start with Luna, and she'll pass it on to Mateo, and then to, oh no, it's not, it's Andre, then Mateo, then Anna, and then Brandon. So Brandon, you have to sit tight for me, okay? All right.
I'm going to be so ready.
I know. My name is Miss Barb, and I love chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. Luna.
My name is
That's that.
so good.
It is. That's a nice treat that you can have once in a while. Thank you, Luna. Andre.
My favorite food is ants on a log because it's fun and you get to call it ants on a log.
That is so fun. I like ants on a log too. Thank you, Andre. Mateo, your turn.
My name is Mateo, and my favorite food be hamburgers and apple juice with the hamburger.
You are making me so hungry. Thank you, Mateo. And who's next to Mateo?
My favorite food is spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Oh, we just had that for dinner last night. Thank you, Anna. And Brandon, I'm so proud of you for waiting so patiently and being such a good listener.
I'm ready. Because guess what? My name is Brandon, and guess what my favorite food is?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Because guess what it is? It's cake. It is cake. I love vanilla cake. I love chocolate cake. I love strawberry cake and yellow cake. And basically anything that says that it's cake is what I like.
Okay. Thank you, Brandon. All right. Next, we have our song. Are we ready for our song? So you need to get your clapping hands ready. And we're going to sing If You're Happy and You Know It. And you're going to do the clapping, okay? Because I have stuff in my hands. I can't clap today. Are you ready? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Oh, let's try that again. I know you can all clap louder than that. You ready? If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Come on, Mateo. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. All right. Oh, good job, everybody. Okay, we're going to move on to our question of the day. Are you ready? And then I'm going to look for a friend who has their hand in the air to answer first this time, okay? So if you would like to go first, you know what, actually, I think I'm going to do something different. Before we share, I'm going to give you the question of the day, and then I want you to turn and talk to a neighbor about it, and then we'll come back together. And if you'd like to share, you can raise your hand, okay? Are you ready? Everybody's eyes are on me. It looks like you're ready. Okay.
Yeah.
If you could have any pet in the whole world at your house, which pet would you want to have? Turn and talk to a neighbor. Go.
Perhaps Mateo, what would you?
Luna, you can talk to Andre.
Well, I already have my one friend, and I like Frank a lot. So I would say I would want a dog.
Brandon, why don't you share with Anna? Okay, friends, 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness. Nicely done. Okay, so if you did amazing at listening to each other and sharing your ideas and being very remembering all of our expectations and rules and listening. I'm so proud of you. You should be proud of yourselves though. Okay, so raise your hand if you would like to share with us which pet you would like to have. Raise your hand. Anna, can you tell us?
Yeah, so perhaps I would like a cat, but we also have a dog, Pixie. So I think maybe a cat would be fun.
A cat is a great pet to keep you company. One more, and then we're going to go draw about it at the writing center. And you can draw the pet that you'd like to have. Okay, Mateo? And Brandon, I know you want to go too, but I saw Andre's hand first. Andre, which pet would you like to have?
Yeah, because I already have an iguana named Frank, and he's very fun, and he eats lots of crickets, and he sleeps on a warm rock. But I think if I had a dog, I think the dog would be more fun because the dog, I could play with it and I could pet it and I could teach it how to do tricks and roll over. And I could teach it how to play.
Okay, Andre, let's save all that great information. And when you draw your dog, we'll come around and we can write about it together, okay? All right, friends.
Okay.
So I'm gonna send you on your way. You can stand up quietly and tiptoe over to the writing center. Bye-bye. Can you say goodbye to all our friends? Oh, pause simulation. Okay. So thank you. That went a little longer than I wanted to. So I'm going to zoom out here and just show you some of the space, hopefully. Okay, so as I'm getting out, you see that we have an easel over here. I had written our morning circle so that the students could see it and follow along with the language. Right in front of the easel. I don't know if my camera is going to go back any farther. It's not. We have a little shelf with materials that we've been using the past week. Here's our book nook and our housekeeping area. We'll go the other way. And you can see our classroom on this side where students will work. And then it's doing the whole 360 here. So I'm going to send it back around. And then I'm going to pass it on to Addie VanDeurzen, who's going to play our video of the early childhood grant that we have for students who are interested in working in the field right away in early childhood.
Thank you, Professor Kotelnicki. That was a great demonstration, and it's so cool to get to show off our new lab that I guess it's not entirely new anymore, but it's very impressive, and what a great space for students to come and learn. So as Barb said, I'm going to share a little bit about our grant program. We have Alicia Ginsburg is our early childhood education pathways grant coordinator. She couldn't be with us today, so she put together a presentation for you that I'm going to share now. Let's see. Let me just get back out of here. All right.
Come be a part of BCC and the Career Pathways Grant funded by the Department of Early Education and Care. The EEC Career Pathways Grant is for individuals who are currently working in childcare or interested in working in childcare while going to school. With the completion of your first semester, you will qualify for your teacher certification, and within the first year of courses, you will qualify for your lead teacher certification through the Department of Early Education and Care. The grant pays for your tuition and fees, loans you textbooks and materials, as well as a laptop for the time in which you are enrolled in courses. The grant supports you with weekly mentoring meetings to help you with anything from assignments to time management and more. You will also be supported through monthly meetings with your cohort and monthly one-on-ones with the Career Pathways Grant Coordinator as well. The purpose of this grant is to support those who like working with young children. Listen to what our students have to say.
It's great because there's lots of support. I like that we have like our weekly mentor meetings. That's been super helpful in keeping me on track. So yeah, just a great support team really. And we all work together and help each other out. So it's nice to have people that are there for you.
I was scared at first, but it was a lot easier going into it with friends and people that I worked with. So we could all bounce ideas off of each other and reach out when we needed help or forgot like when an assignment was due. Don't think about it, just do it.
For more information, contact A. Ginsburg at berkshirecc.edu.
Okay, did that come through okay? All right, I see some nods from my fellow presenters, so thank you. It's always a little bit nerve-wracking to be on the back end and not know how it looks. Okay, so that was our presentation on our Pathways grant. Hopefully that was some helpful information as well. I am going to turn the floor over to TJ, who's going to tell you a little bit about our admissions process and some upcoming ways to learn more about the college in general.
Hi, everyone. So nice to meet you all. My name is TJ Karis. I'm an admissions counselor here at Berkshire Community College. So now that we've heard all of this amazing, awesome, wonderful stuff about the education department, how do we take advantage of all this cool stuff? So let me share my screen. Here we go. All right, so hopefully you should see a nice picture that we've put together of just kind of a basic overview of the steps to coming to Berkshire Community College. I can no longer see anything or anyone in Zoom, and this is really weird. So now I'm just like staring at this picture. Hopefully you are too. So here's how it works. First things first, you're going to apply to the college. And this is actually really easy. Really, it's just kind of like your name, your address, your phone number, what you're interested in, you know, the education department, and you know, basic stuff like that. So nothing crazy. The next thing that we're going to need is for you to send your high school transcripts to us. So this is something that basically you're going to go to your guidance counselor and just ask that they send it on over. I'm sure they're very familiar with the process. They can send it by email, by mail. We just need an official transcript. Depending on your GPA. So if your cumulative GPA is above a 2.7, you're all set. If you're at or below that, then we'll have to have you just take a very brief placement test. It's free. We do it on campus or remote, and it just gives us an idea of your standing in English and math. No worries about that for now, though. For now, we're just going to need your transcript. We can handle that stuff later. And while you're doing all of that, you're going to want to start the FAFSA. So this is the free application for federal student aid. This is something that you do really for any school that you go to. And this is going to set you up with grants, with loans, with work study opportunities, all that fun stuff. Now, if you're taking part in the Early Pathways grant, this may not apply, but I still recommend that you do it anyway. I mean, free money's free money, right? So who cares where it comes from? This is really important. And you know what? For what it's worth, free money. You know, no one since I've left college has offered me free money, and I wish they would. You know, like it's not something that comes along often in life. And after all of that is done, the last step will be to make an appointment with academic advising, and they will help you get set up with your classes. So they'll sit down with you one-on-one and help you figure out a schedule that makes sense. And that is the admissions process in a nutshell. So let me stop my screen sharing. And I do see that a question has come through. So someone has asked, can you apply for the grant if you are doing dual enrollment?
That's a really good question for our grant coordinator, who's unfortunately not with us. I'm going to take a minute and ask. I don't know if either Professor K or Kotelnicki know the answer to this question, but if you don't, we can certainly take information from the person who asked that question and follow up with Alicia.
Sure, I can jump in. One of the premises for the grant is that you are working about 20 hours a week in the field. So that is not really negotiable. And I definitely would follow up on that and email Alicia because I know there are all kinds of little ins and outs of the grant. So, you know, it really is specific for each individual, but that is the main premise. And the Department of Early Education and Care put this grant out there because truly early childhood educators don't make a fortune. And so their thought is the least we can do is pay for you to take college courses and work toward your degree. So it is a wonderful time to take advantage of this. I don't know how many opportunities come along like that, but working in the field is part of what's required, but definitely email Alicia and she can help you.
And I just put Alicia's email address in the chat. She's very friendly. If you have a question, you can just say, I came to the info session and I had this question. So you can easily email her and she'll get back to you pretty quickly.
I just wanted to add Alicia Ginsburg, who is the grant coordinator who you would contact, is very usually during non-COVID is out and about. Even during COVID, she's out and about. So she's very responsive and knows this grant inside and outside, knows everything about it. And Adam Hughes, who is the mentor who works with our students at least once a week, sometimes more, is also readily available and has been doing lots of Zoom sessions to make sure that our students have everything they need to be successful. And Patty Kay and I are also available all the time. So you have lots of supports. We are going to do everything in our power to help you be successful in any field, whether it's early childhood, elementary, middle school, secondary. We are here to help you figure out what you want to do and where you want to go.
All right, I think that was the end of the questions that I saw. So if TJ, are you seeing anything that I'm missing here?
I have not. It's a great question. And if anybody has any others, please send them our way. We're here for you.
Okay, thank you. So yes, if you think of anything, please feel free to add it to the chat. If not, we have a few minutes left in our time scheduled this morning. So I'm going to open it up to any of our presenters if there was anything that you cut short on your presentation, because you all did such an amazing job of keeping to the time frame that I asked you. But we do have a little bit of extra time for this question and answer. So if you have some additional information you'd like to share, I'm going to give you some space to do that.
I'm just going to jump in for a couple of minutes. I'm not going to go back to my PowerPoint, but I just want to say, partly in my job as chair of the education department, as a former teacher, as a mom of two 30-something-year-old sons, I know that high school can be a very difficult time. It can be a time when you feel pressure to make decisions about the rest of your life. And that in itself, it can be very overwhelming. But I really see that the team at Berkshire Community College is, they are such quality people that want to help you figure out what it is that will bring you joy in your life. And that's not always easy. It's trial and error sometimes, and you have to try a couple of things that might be the wrong pathway. And it's okay to fall down and pick yourself back up and try another route. So even if the takeaway for today is you really liked Addie, or you really felt comfortable with Barb, and you'd enjoy talking to them about the possibilities for college for you, you know, reach out, because networking and asking questions and trying to figure things out and talking with people is so critically important. And I think that's one of the things that we at Berkshire Community College do really well. And it's part of our philosophy. We do want you to come into our program, and we do want to bring people into the field of teaching. But more than that, we want to help you realize your full potential. And we're willing to sit with you, talk with you, email with you. If we don't know the answers, then we can connect you with people who do. So you, at the very least today, you've made some friends at BCC, and feel free to reach out to any one of us if you have questions, concerns, or if you're just perplexed and feeling confused as a teenager who's in high school. Maybe we can help you along the way.
Now,
So,
Professor K, if I may interrupt you as you asked, I thought I was going to get away without doing this, so we got really close. So now I have a question for you. Is your PowerPoint online anywhere?
Oh, that's a really good question. You know what, TJ? I am not super technically savvy, but I would make it available to you and let you post it somewhere. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, where could I post that? I suppose, yeah, let's talk about that. And then we should have a list of all the persons who registered today. So actually, maybe one thing we could do is even just send it out to those on that list so that everyone has it.
That was
sound
going to
good?
be my suggestion, if we could do that. Are you comfortable with that, Professor Kay?
I am totally comfortable with that. I kind of stopped 3/4 of the way through when I usually present at various high schools. I then go into what are the attributes or dispositions of teachers? What are some things in your personality and your temperament that would be good to have as you embark on the idea of becoming a classroom teacher? And I could even throw this out there to some of our guests today. Does anybody want to type in the chat or volunteer to unmute? What are some qualities that you think would be beneficial to somebody who wants to go into teaching? Don't be shy.
So unfortunately, because this is set as a webinar, I don't think it's actually possible for anyone who is not presenting to unmute.
Okay.
So not a question of shy so much. Everyone's going to be shy today, including me.
All right. Thanks for letting me know. Well, you know, this is something to examine, because when you think about what you want to do in life, if it's something that goes along with your disposition, your temperament, the qualities that you have, then your work is joyful. If you choose something that is really against the grain of who you are, and every day is difficult and it's nerve-wracking and you're anxious, that probably isn't a good fit. So I love to talk to new students about what are your hopes and dreams for your life? What do you want to do? And then we dig deeper into how do you see this short term? How do you see this long term? And we usually end up with a really good plan for students. So I just want to throw this out there that you are in a time of making choices, and it can be difficult. Try not to let that overwhelm you. And if we can be a resource, please don't hesitate to contact any one of us.
Thank you, Professor Kay. We've all been adding our email addresses into the chat. As an attendee, if you want to grab any of those, please feel free to do that. I think that that's something that we can add into the email that we send out with the slides as well, so that you'll have our contact information. And we're all, will say, very friendly. So if you think of something and have a question, you can email any of us. It's okay to say, I don't remember which one you were, but I have this question, and we'll pass it around and we'll get you the information you need. So with that in mind, I think, oh, I see that TJ has put his information in the chat as well about how to make an appointment with him or our other admission counselor, Karen, as well. So TJ, did you want to explain that a little bit?
Yeah, so these are just pages that will allow you to basically access our calendars. So it'll show you any open time slots that we have, and it'll allow you to book an appointment. So we do things right now by phone or by Zoom. Obviously, we're not meeting people in person just yet, although we're getting there. We're almost there, but not yet. So I like to put those out there just in case if you have any admissions questions, financial aid questions, anything that I covered, or even if you just want to talk about the program, I'm happy to talk with you too. And I'm sure Karen would be as well. I do also have more of a comment than a question in the Q&A. It says the person going into teaching should have the personality for it and want to do it, should be positive, high energy. These are the qualities a teacher should have. So we did get an answer, even though we couldn't unmute. And I definitely agree. I'm sure you will too.
I love that answer. That's very astute and very insightful. So whoever made that comment, I'd love to talk to you further. Like to continue the conversation with you.
I'm going to drop this in the chat as well, but this is the direct page where you can find out about all of our programs and certificates, and all of the supports here and what you'll need if you want to learn more about any of the fields. Okay, so I'll drop that in the chat. It's right on the VCC webpage.
Thank you. All right, so I want to close us out and say thank you very much for joining us today. We were so excited to get to share what we do here at BCC in the education department and beyond. And very much hope to see you with us in the future. I see TJ raising his hand at me.
Yep,
Go
I
ahead.
got one more question. We
Okay.
are not done just yet. So how fast can you finish getting a certificate in elementary education?
That's such a great question. Not fast. You can get an introductory certificate in early childhood education because that is a certificate that you would get by doing the coursework. The route to elementary education is it's a license that you would receive, and it's a process. So at the end of the 4 years, you do something called a capstone, which is actual student teaching. And that's done with a supervising professor from the 4-year school and a lead teacher in the public school. And it is the satisfactory completion of that that's recommended to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, along with a passing grade on the Massachusetts Teacher Examination for Licensure. And Barb is so well informed about all those tests. There are a couple of them. But if you want to have a dialogue about that further, email Barb or email me and I can connect you with Barb. Because the pathways are not clear. It really is, it's complicated, and you kind of have to have somebody to lead you through. This is what you have to do if you go this pathway. This is what you have to do if you go this pathway. And of course, there are many other jobs in between. There's a guidance counselor. There's a school psychologist. There are, and as we return to education post-COVID, who knows what new kinds of positions will be available in education. So that's one of the brilliant things about education, is that it's changing all the time. And you have to stay current and you have to stay on top of everything. And I think that's what makes it exciting. So yes, we can tell you more about those different pathways and those different organizations, and we can fill you in on what you have to do and how you do it.
We can tell you that we've had a few students, one last spring, who went right from our 4 education courses to MCLA pretty smoothly, and she's getting ready to student teach next spring. So that'll be 2 years after her 2 years with us, and she was pretty much a full-time student. She didn't quite take 5 classes each semester, but she did some summer work to catch up on that. We have another student who's getting ready to graduate in May. She's taken 3 years to get through it while she's been working in elementary. And she is also going to MCLA and will start her field placement when she gets there and some more of their education courses and become ready for student teaching and licensure. So conceivably, you could do it here in 2 years, move to MCLA and do it in about 5 semesters, 4 to 5 semesters, depending on how many courses you take at one time. And we will help you with the first MTEL before you leave.
I just want to add one more thing, Addie and TJ. I just want to say to Kathy Roy, thank you for everything you've done over the last several years that I have worked with you. You are impeccable. You are thorough. It's been a joy to have you, and we will miss you. But I know who's going to take over, and I've taught in the classroom right next to him for several years. So a big welcome. I don't know if it's public, so I'll just say a big welcome to Jack.
All right, are there any remaining questions, TJ, that you see that I'm missing?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Well, thank you to all of our presenters and our guests today. It was a great session, and we look forward to connecting again as we move forward. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.